Ta-da! It's me again. Sorry I stepped away from the video portion of my expression for a little while, but I've missed it, and I hope you have too, because I'm bringing it back, because I love doing these videos for you, and I love doing them for me. And today's topic is one that I've never heard anyone speak on yet, but I think it's high time that we do, because we are accidentally and innocently keeping what we are so looking for at arm's length without even knowing that we're doing that. So today's message is making room for miracles in our life. And to begin, I'll tell you a little bit about me and where I come from, because some of you may or may not know that I was raised in a devout Southern Baptist setting. I was deep in the heart of the South in Georgia, and it was sort of like being raised on a raft in the middle of the ocean where there was nothing but water as far as the eye could see. Because in my world, there was nothing but other Baptist, or at the very least, other Protestant denominations, which, short of a few details, is basically the same. So, when I say I was raised immersed in religion, it is an understatement. But while there, I observed a lot of useful things, and one of them that I saw happen over and over again, I'm also seeing happen outside of religion. And it's the point of this video, because even as a young child, I observed how whenever God had supposedly answered a prayer and a miracle had occurred, it was as if no one could quite bring themselves to look at it. How strange is that? It was, and I watched it happen over and over again with very little deviation, and today I'm a little amazed that I still watch it happen outside of religion. So it's really crazy. There's nothing that will make a room full of people fall silent more quickly or uncomfortably than someone talking about a modern day miracle. I mean, Moses can part the Red Sea, and everyone goes, well, of course, and Jesus can raise the dead, and we say, well, why not? But let Johnny Nobody find his way to walk away from his medically incurable disease today, and nobody knows what to do with it. After a little trickle of cliched sayings, no one has anything to say. Have you noticed that? It's the strangest thing, and it's happening inside of religion and outside of religion. In fact, the same thing happened with the news that Wayne Dyer didn't die from his leukemia, but rather he died from an apparently ongoing heart condition. And when his family posted that the autopsy revealed no trace of leukemia, it barely made a ripple. In fact, a friend of mine posted it on my page, and I thought, honestly, that it was probably an urban legend that had started to grow, because I hadn't heard a peep about the autopsy not showing any leukemia. But he had cured himself. Why aren't we talking about that? How did this incredible news not overtake the news of his death? It didn't. Maybe some people were a little upset or disoriented because he did die. And sometimes we have a hard time as a collective still not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But here's what I'm certain happened. Wayne apparently had what I like to call a reboot on his agenda. And at first, the leukemia was the vehicle that was going to provide his reboot. But then he deliberately nixed that. But he must not have disarmed the actual reboot. But that's okay. I can tell you firsthand that he is far from dead or gone. The fact remains, the man actually accomplished what he set out to do. He publicly announced that he intended to get over leukemia. And by George, he did it. He cured himself of the incurable. How did this news not become viral? And this made me sit and wonder, why do we do this? Why do we still tiptoe quietly away from the very thing that we're searching for? Instead, we give it very little attention, and therefore, miracles have very little footing in our world. very little. And that's why. And I think it's because sometimes we are more afraid of the light than we are of the darkness. Because after we have stood witness to the light, we can no longer wonder if it's real. We can't keep ourselves busy chasing it or trying to connect with it. The chase is over. There it stands, smiling and waving at us in broad daylight. But yet our instinct is to barely give it a glance. And that deserved a little reflection to me. I mean, why would we not run it up a flagpole and salute it every day? Well, I'll tell you why. Because we know that acknowledging it too closely makes us know it's real. And that knowing pulls at us to act in ways that we previously didn't require us to act in before. I mean, if he can do it, holy crap, that means we can do it, right? But if we are to do it, then we have to do something different than we are accustomed to doing in this world where we normally just get our little diagnosis and then die like good little soldiers as we were instructed. We can't do that. We have to dare to move into what feels unfamiliar to us. Because if we always stand where we've always stood, we're always going to get what we've always gotten, right? So if a miracle was from ancient times, we can talk about that all day because we don't feel like we have to act upon it. And sometimes we even make up excuses as to why we can't or we shouldn't. But what happens when that miracle walks up, knocks on your door, and stands before you right now, today? Things change, don't they? We can feel the ground shifting under our feet when this happens, and sometimes we instinctively move to familiar footing. This is why we turn our heads. This is why we don't look at it for very long. But this familiar footing leads us to always standing where we have always stood. And if we do that, we're always going to get what we've always gotten. Change requires change. Period. So if we want something new, we have to risk something new. I think our instinctive fear simply comes from a vague fear of the unknown, because we want this, but we don't consciously know it anymore. It's unfamiliar. But we do instinctively know that allowing it to come into our world too deeply will indeed radically change our world. We know this, and that change often frightens us. And this is why we turn our head. But isn't this change exactly what everyone listening to this today is looking for? It is. So, what can we do? How can we quiet this instinctive fear that's moving us away from what we really want to do? I think an easy way is something that I have used personally as my walls have continued to expand and I've been pushed out of my comfort zone time and time again. You know what I do? I acclimate. So let's begin to acclimate ourselves to this change so we won't fear it. And the easiest and the fastest way to do this, in my opinion, is this. When miracles appear in your world, celebrate them. And if no one will dance with you about it, then dance on your own. This way, we welcome these changes, and we're embracing them. And as we do so, we acclimate to their potential arrival into our world without fear and without stress. It's effortless. And the more we do it, what happens? The more they come, right? And isn't this what we want? We want a world full of deliberate miracles that allow us to modify on the fly hidden errors in our thought that have accidentally manifested in ways that we don't want to experience. We want the ability to change that, don't we? You bet you do. So, hold your ground. Stop running from good news and from miracles. Turn off the news if you can, and if you can't, At least immerse yourself with equal time to positive things. Start this today, and if you don't have a handy miracle to celebrate, I promise you Wayne would be delighted if you take his miracle and hold it as your own and celebrate it, because in a way it is yours too. It really is. Place it out there where you and everyone else can see it. Post it, email it, share it, mention it, and most of all, think about it. Run it across your heart over and over and over until your heart instinctively recognizes the vibration of a miracle, and it effortlessly begins to accept it as an everyday potential. Let yourself acclimate in this way. So look for miracles and good news every day, multiple times a day. The more you immerse yourself, the faster it goes. Share them with one another and allow them to become part of who you are. Because whatever we place our attention upon is what we get more of, right? And I want more of this. How about you? So make this a reality in your world. Start right now, today, this hour, making room for miracles in your world. In doing so, you will show your world how you want it to go, and it will follow you because your world is your shadow. It can do no other. So make room for miracles in your world. You have this ability, you know. You have this and more. I offer you these thoughts for your consideration.